anytime a ticket gets created and managed, it is automatically kicked off through this workflow that tries to just resolve things or mark things or do something to the ticket, whatever that is. So we have basically we have, hey, where did the ticket come from? If it came from SAS alerts, run the SAS alerts automation. If it comes from automate, run through these possible things that automate does that Roost can do something about. And then on top of that, we have if the company is our initial GUM for one of our clients, they are a weird one that has multiple agreements, and depending on the site of the user is which agreement should be applied. And we were having text do that. Obviously, text forget. So now Roost pulls the user, the contact on the ticket, and sets the agreement to match the site. The agreement name matches the site name, and so it matches those two and automatically applies it. So that took care of one of our biggest ticket issues, was just wrong agreement on that particular client. Then on top of that, the SAS alerts, we got a lot of noise on that. So we went through and like, hey, what criteria do we not need to see these false positives? So we went through and we just said, like, here are the different possible ways of a false positive in SAS alerts, and here's how we can identify them. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but this got more complicated. But you can see, because we did the sub workflows, the top level isn't that bad, and we can continue expanding it. And then we go into sub workflows that say, hey, let's do these little pieces. But we just, in the top workflow, we're really just identifying how a ticket came in, or what's an identifying marker, and then everything else gets passed off to a sub workflow. And then the sub workflow, like the SAS alerts one, we do all kinds of stuff. We have it checking. I didn't create this, but we have it checking like Screen Connect to see if the IP address in SAS alerts, in the SAS alerts alert, matches the IP address of a computer in Screen Connect, because we're not trying to stop insider threats. So we can cut down that noise like 95% by just saying, oh, it's an IP address of a computer in our network. Then it's not a problem. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for outside threats. So that significantly cuts down the noise, even out of country, because we know the laptop is out of country. So that works really well. And we just we just sat down, we looked at, hey, here's our criteria of, here's SAS alerts, here are the false positives, the various types of false positives, and how we can detect them. Which system does Roost have access to detect that it is a false positive? Another big one was guest users. So we would get alerts about out-of-country sign-in for a guest user. So that's a client's guest user. Like at that point, we're not going to call some random, third party and be like, hey, is one of your employees out of country? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So, we have Roost go in there, and it just checks intra to see if the user is a guest user in intra. And if it is, then it goes ahead and closes that ticket, because we don't need that ticket. It'd be nice if SAS alerts did that, but they don't. So we did it with Roost, and that cut down NOC time by at least an hour a day, was just dealing with all those false positives, closing them out and whatnot. And then, a lot of other workflows we've done. I'm not going to get into the details on them, but like 90-day offline. So when a computer comes, we have it automate creates a ticket when a computer's been offline for 90 days, and Roost does some sanity checks and puts some details in the ticket, like, hey, it checked into Screen Connect 10 days ago. So clearly there's just a broken agent, or, it just pulls all the various systems, like last check-in time. If the user's got a new computer recently, if they've signed into other computers, it puts all that data in the ticket for the tech to still do the work. But we've cut 15 minutes off of every single one of those tickets by just doing the analysis for them. And so we just did that with, we just looked at all of our tickets, mostly on the NOC board, because it's my department. But we've been looking at the NOC board and seeing, like, hey, where can we get rid of this ticket permanently, or make it much easier on the NOC tech to fulfill it? And that is, again, every ticket that opens up, it just runs through this list. This one's a little messy, but with Roost, unfortunately, you can't control the lines very much, so you got to do weird things sometimes to make it readable. But there you go. That's my two. Yeah, as James said, James is my automation engineer. He said the SAS alerts ticket workflow closed 37 tickets yesterday. So that would have been 37 tickets a tech would have had to spend at least a few seconds determining was a false positive and closing. And as you all know, the second you touch a ticket, that's 2 to 5 minutes guaranteed on every single ticket. So by getting rid of those false positives, we've significantly freed up our NOC tech to put new and interesting things on the NOC board instead of wasting his time.